We'll start off with Zach Taylor from Bryan Broadcasting.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jimbo, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. Last Friday, the decision to cancel practice. I know that you guys walked out in front of the admin building and you spoke. What compelled you to speak then? And can you share with us at all what you said?
Well, no. Well, I mean, just the social injustice issues and the awareness. And like I say, it's a constant learning curve for all of us and what we're doing and the things that are affecting our young men. And we want to let them know we support them 1,000% and everything that's going on. And some of our players brought some of those issues up and thought it was a time to take back and reflect and help and the issues that were going on and discuss within our team, different things went on. And I think our team leaders and everybody did a great job in that regard. I thought our players and voiced things and did things. And, the reason I spoke was nothing, just to let them know, to keep us aware, keep us doing things, us staying aware of their feelings and talking and keeping the open line of communication and trying to support them in every way we can, which we totally do, because social injustice has no place in this world. And we're going to do everything we can to support them and then create things from ourselves to help make change in the future from the things they have told us and helped us with.
Thanks.
Next question is from Brent Zorderman with the Houston Chronicle.
Hey, Coach, that was along my lines of it seems like coaches are not in envious positions these days in terms of kind of walking a tightrope. They're talking about 20 years from now, a player that you have can say, man, that coach was tough, a lot of tough love, and I learned a lot from him. But now it seems like some guys, and I'm not talking specifically about your team, I'm talking nationwide, can like run to social media and post if you got his feelings hurt during practice, things like that. My question to you is, how do you handle all that in what's very much a new era?
Well, I think you're learning every day. And like you say, I am a very tough coach and a tough love guy who, you want the practices to be tough and you want to push them so that they do well when those situations occur out there. And like I say, making myself more aware of how you do things and these kids' feelings at certain times and what's going on and what's actually affecting them in the world. And I think that's where we're continuing learning, the coaches, to try and listen and let these kids tell us the issues they see and some of the things that they see that, we may not even see ourselves. I mean, it's educational for us each and every day. And like I say, it's want our kids to know we love them. We're supporting of them and do everything we can. And we'll try to work through this together each and every day. And then the big thing is for us to communicate players to players, players to coaches, coaches to players, and being aware of the issues and that we communicate daily on how you feel, what you do, and how we can help you and how we can get better as a unit at the same time.
Next question is from Gabe Bach at TexAgs.com.
Hey, Jimbo, kind of following those same lines, but coaches are all about structure, all about commitment to the process. And 2020 has certainly been something that's altered that structure for all of us. What do you think's been the biggest challenge for you as head coach with all that this year's thrown at you? And then what good has come out of it? If you could
I think our awareness, I think the good is coming, our awareness for the things that a lot of these young men face in the world and things that we don't even know they face daily, and the things that, you look and say, oh my God, I mean, I can't believe that happened, or you didn't know about, things that they face when they walk away from this building or different things that go on, and being aware of that. And I think, but you understand the processes of everything change. Everything changes, and we have to change with it to be open-minded to help these guys still learn and get where you're trying to get to and try to be successful on the field and the things there, but also, like I say, more importantly, as a person, and make them at ease and know that. And if you can do that, and your process has to gradually change. And each day I'm trying to evaluate for myself and the things and the players, what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the communication levels we have to help them in every way, shape, and form.
Next question is from Mike Lucas at KAGS.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. In the last week, we saw Elijah Blades and Tucker opt out. Just curious, were you surprised by those decisions, and do you still like your depth in the secondary without those two?
Well, I mean, I don't say surprised. I mean, you wish they were there, but you understand the things that are going on. And, they've expressed their reasoning and the things, and that's between us and the things that go on, but nothing bad. They're both great young men and both had an outstanding future. Elijah was just coming off a shoulder surgery. Like I say, he had practiced most of the practice almost the whole time. We give him a little break. He was coming back. He would have been full speed here shortly, but there's other issues and things going on. And he's going to be an outstanding player, outstanding young man. And Tucker, the same thing. And I know Tuck had said he's going to step back and do a lot of things for Black Lives Matter, which is tremendous, because like I say, there's things out there in this world right now that he thinks are very important and we think are very important, and, giving him the opportunities to do that. And yes, I mean, your depth, you mean you lose two really good players. I mean, it doesn't help depth, but at the same time, some of our younger guys are really playing good, and we feel comfortable with the things we have. But you always, you hate to lose two great young men like that.
Next question is from Travis Brown with the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Hey, Coach.
Hello.
We're seeing some other coaches around the country talk about some of their anxieties with position group depth when it comes to COVID-19 and things like that. Have you been working out other players and other positions that maybe you wouldn't even have thought about prior to COVID-19 just to make sure that you have a backup plan at some position groups?
We're aware of that at times, but that's easier said than done. And how you're doing that, because they still have to master the ones they have. But we've all talked about that as a staff. We move guys, in the offensive line. We do it, guys that, for instance, snap the ball, things of that nature that, you can't have other people do that. It's just a unique place. Maybe a DB plays receiver, receiver plays DB. I think that can be done. We haven't done a lot of it. We've talked about it because we're still in the first parts of camp, trying to get our base things down and understand some of these freshmen and even your old upperclassmen. You don't want to move them around, get them established before you go, and then we'll see where we go from there. But those things are thought about, talked about, and even in coaches' meetings. I mean, that's the thing. What determines if you don't play? You know what I'm saying? Those things are all still being hashed out, and we still don't know the total rules on that. What would cause a game of cancellation if certain positions were not there? Things of that nature. I think they're still searching for those things, and those answers are going to be never ending, really, to me.
And one more quick one too. Have you had any? I know there's some discussion with some other people. Have you had any instances where, or worries about agents trying to get a hold of some of the players, some of the guys, the NFL, and it kind of maybe a free for all with that, with how uncertain things are?
Well, I think you're always aware of those things with agent issues. Even if a guy was playing all year, the things, the impacts it have on him, and making sure those guys communicate with us about those situations. But we don't feel that. Our players have done a great job in that respect so far, in my opinion. So I don't anticipate any of that. But, it's something we're aware of, and we try to keep an eye on.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question from Brian Peroni at Gig'em 247.
Yeah, Coach, I had sort of a follow-up on Blades and Tucker question. I know that Blades said he would be back next year, but I was wondering if you were expecting both guys back. And then also with the depth at both positions, I would assume that Damani Richardson and Miles Jones would be penciled in as starters, but do you have any clue who's likely in line beside those guys?
Well, no, there's open competitions. We're getting ready for the first scrimmage this weekend, and those guys have all done well, and they have to continue to do well. But, yeah, we expect both those guys back. I mean, there hasn't been anything to the contrary to say that they wouldn't be back, and I'm sure they'll communicate otherwise. But, we love those guys, and we'd love to have them back.
All right, next question is from Robert Cessna, the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Coach, I was wondering what the backup quarterback situation looked like, and are those guys getting more snaps because Mon's entrenched and a little bit of COVID prop?
Oh, our numbers of reps are all the same. Everybody, the way we practice 1 to 3s, 2s, and 4s on the field, those guys get multiple. I mean, they get the same amount of reps. Those guys always have gotten the same amount of reps as Mon. We do his reps, and we do 3 reps, and the 2 and 4s are on another field, and they're getting reps too. So we're getting plenty of reps and that good. And Zach is, those guys are done good. Haynes has done a great job. Of course, James has opted out, and Colton and Taylor's done a good job in that group right there too. And you got to remember, you still have Blumberg as a quarterback too in that situation, because that's always a position you worry about, because quarterback's such a unique situation.
Coach,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Has your team basically been virus free since the start of camp?
We basically have. I mean, we have our players. I'm going to commend them on this. They have done an outstanding job of keeping this and what they're doing and their precautions. And for us to practice and not have guys missing and doing all that, they've done an outstanding job. Very mature and very disciplined in that regard.
Thanks, Jimbo.
Yes, sir.
All right, next question is from Justin Woodard at KAGS.
Coach, I know you always say every game is a big one, and especially when you lose one. But Jamon had told us when we talked to him that he really went back and watched the so-called bigger games last year, the Bamas, the Clemsons, and it stood out to him that what he did on the practice field didn't necessarily translate sometimes to those big in-game situations. How do you teach that in fall camp? Because really big games are coming this year.
I think it's experience, and I think each guy learns to, as I say, the game slows down, the world slows down for how you're thinking and what you're doing in those situations. And I think it just takes experience sometimes. Sometimes you got to realize, you want to play a big game. You think, well, I got to go do something special. No, most games are won by ordinary things, just doing them better than anybody else. And the big things naturally happen within the framework of the plays and how you do and work every day. And I think that just comes from experience and time and confidence in yourself, and just letting it happen. And once all of a sudden it happens, you always say, man, what was so hard about it? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just part of maturing and growing and learning to play those situations.
Next question is from Gabe Bach at texags.com.
Yeah, Jimbo, do you think this year's freshman class has a chance to be as impactful as last year's freshman group was for you?
So far, I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this: we're very happy we have these guys. I mean, I think some of these guys will be able to help us in depth in the things that are going forward, and we're very pleased with all the guys we recruited. Our staff and everybody did a great job evaluating, and I feel like we got the right guys. That's for sure. So I'm very happy and optimistic about those things. Next
question is from Olin Buchanan. And that's all our questions on the queue. So if you have a question, get in there.
You're on mute, Olin. Olin, you're on mute, buddy.
There we go. Sorry.
I know. I did that 5 times a day on the meeting, so I get
it. I'm old. Sometimes I need reminders.
Me too.
Why do you think that that your program has been, I would say, minimally affected by players deciding to opt out, especially when you consider what's going on in some of the places across the country?
Well, I think these guys are they care for each other, and they know each other, and they have a goal, and they love being at A&M. They love A&M, and but I think more important, they love each other, and they want to be supportive of each other, and they're happy with hopefully playing and doing the things we're doing. And I mean, I can't answer that totally. I guess that'd be a question maybe more for them, but hopefully that they like playing here and the things we're doing, and but I think they care about each other. They do matter to each other, and I think that's a big thing, how players think about each other.
And following up on something Gabe was asking you just a minute ago, specifically to the offensive line, are you seeing indications yet from the freshmen that would make you feel like they could play as far as offensive linemen right away?
Well, I think in the offensive line, you see the ability. I mean, the guys there physically, we definitely do. Now it's just a matter of getting the reps, getting the time, getting all the things that go on the offensive line. Because I mean, I don't know, and I say it all the time. I take it for granted how tough it is to come in as an offensive lineman as a freshman. The multitude of things you see, not only. All right, that guy across from you is bigger, stronger, and faster than anybody I've ever seen. And then the twists and the stunts and the different looks that go on defense and everything that goes on. But, we feel we're developing, and those guys are going to have to be ready. You have to get those guys ready to play this year because you don't know the uncertainty of different things that can happen during the year. You know what I'm saying? So, but we've been very pleased with their progress so far. I'm anxious to watch them scrimmage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Chip Howard for a question.
Jimbo, given that most coaches never think they have enough time to prepare, I'm wondering how comfortable you are right now, a little more than 3 weeks from kickoff, with where you guys are.
Well, I'm never comfortable. Just like you said, you answered your own question. You're never comfortable. But I'm going to say this. I think our players have done an outstanding job because two things. They've done a great job with the virus, so they're out there on the practice field. So they're getting reps. I think they've done a great job that way. Our energy level's been good. And I think that we're progressing right where I think we should be. I think our leadership has done a good job. And so, we're going in this first scrimmage. I think we're about where we should be and what we're doing. And some of these young guys are picking things up, no one trying to give depth.
We're running out of time, so we'll go to Travis Brown and then Zach Taylor and finish it up.
Yeah, Coach, one more. I know when we talked to Anais last week, he had mentioned that he stayed in Houston during the voluntary workouts to work out with his dad, and saying that his dad was a great person to work out with and a great family. How did you see him come back, the kind of shape he's in, what he was able to do while working out at home and the resources he had there?
He come back in tip-top shape, man. He's a worker. He loves ball. His dad did a great job. His dad did a great job with him because when he come back, he was in great shape, great condition physically, and mentally. And I thought did a great job. Really good job.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, last question from Zach Taylor at Brian Broadcasting.
Jimbo, I know that this doesn't directly affect you guys, at least for the regular season, but there's been a lot of talk about the Big Ten possibly coming back this year in the fall, maybe even after Thanksgiving. I mean, just any thoughts on having another league rejoin the season?
Well, I mean, I don't know how it'll affect us and what goes on, but if they do, then I'm happy for those kids and the families that really want to play and do the things they got to do. And you know, and like I say, I don't think anybody makes decisions for the wrong reasons. That's why decisions in life we look at. But you know, I'm happy for those guys. If they do, they do, and then that's more chances for those young men to play. And I just hate it if it's safe and doing the right things. I'm not questioning anything they're doing. They're outstanding. But you know, if those guys get to play and don't get to miss, I think it's great for those kids and everybody involved. So, you know, if that's what they decide, and it doesn't bother me one bit.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.